Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending tonight's Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 Township Board meeting. At this time, I would ask those of you who are able to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Ruggles.
Here.
Clerk Noble here. Supervisor Kowal.
Here.
Treasurer Roman.
Here.
Trustee Voorhees.
Present.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion looking for support.
I'll support that.
I have support from Mr. Ruggles. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Next item, public comment. Public comment, you will have 3 minutes to state your business. You do need to come up to the podium and you must state your name and address for the recorder. Mr. Sprader.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. My name is Matt Sprader, 10070 Elizabeth Lake Road, White Lake, Michigan. I received a letter in the mail from our township attorney about a food truck that's in the bar parking lot. And, I was thinking of ways we could maybe fix that because I drive through White Lake and I see a few businesses that are no longer with us. The Wendy's, the Tim Hortons, a few gyms and things like that. It's very hard making it in business right now, especially with the road closed. That's no help. Now I know the road's gonna open soon. And I'm very appreciative of this board. They've done me great with the new building. And with that being said, it is not a permanent trailer. It's got, wheels on it, and we could move it. And I was wondering if you'll allow us to keep it, I could move it out on Monday morning and bring it back Wednesday afternoon. That's one option. Or if you guys have an option, I'd love to hear it. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay, Matt, you should probably get a hold of my office and we
Okay.
can sit down and have a meeting.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And I also got to, praise our chief. I've called him a couple times with problems at the bar, and him and his people have been great. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
That's all I need.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You have a great night.
Thanks again.
Anyone else at this time? Public comment. 3 minutes to state your case. State your name for the record. Seeing none, closing public comment. Moving on to consent agenda. Consent agenda is a list of revenue expenses, check disbursements, and department reports from police, fire, community development, and treasurer. Any questions or comments from the board on consent agenda? Mr. Roman.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
I have a motion to approve. Looking for support?
Support.
I have support from Mr. Noble. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Minutes of 3 meetings, July 11th, July 18th, and July 20th. 2 special, 1 regular, A, B, and C. Any questions or comments from the board at this time?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve minutes from July 11th, July 18th, and July 20th. I have a motion. Looking for support? Support. I have support from Mr. Ruggles. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. 8A, request to approval preliminary site plan approval, Panera Bread. Hot diggity dog.
So listen, I wish they were all this easy. Tonight, Stonefield Engineering, I think, is being represented by Aaron McMacken. This project goes to the Planning Commission on July 20th. And at that time, the Planning Commission, because there's so a few outstanding issues and because this development that will offer Panera and about 60% of the building and a future retail user that has not been announced yet and about 40% of the building, it comports perfectly with the zoning ordinance, so there really was no issue. So at that time, the Planning Commission recommended preliminary site plan to the board, and the only conditions are those found within the review letters. I think that the applicant was willing at that time, and will probably state tonight if you'd like to hear from her, that they agree to meet all the conditions in those letters, and I don't really foresee there being any issues.
Anything you care to add?
No, just to introduce myself, Erin McMacken with Stonefield Engineering. We're representing the applicant. The developer Allrig is just really excited to, start some developments in these Meyer outlots. I know that they've kind of been planned for these type of developments, and Panera Bread is also very excited to, hopefully get a development in the city of White Lake. The other retail tenant has not yet been chosen, but as soon as it is, we'll let you guys know, as well as, like Sean said, complying with all the conditions stated previously.
Okay, do you have a guesstimate as to when you would break ground?
Probably a next year project, just given, getting our engineering approvals and permits, it'll probably be the, spring of next year.
Mr. Ruggles, you sit on the planning commission, you care to comment?
I would say that the planning commission was excited for the project, so much so that we encouraged them to get a waiver to allow them to open a little earlier in the morning. So, I believe, what time was that, do you remember?
6 a.m.?
I think it was 6 a.m. And I don't think there'll be an issue. There really are no residents. I mean, I don't know that you can see a home very easily from where this will be. And really, the biggest concern is obviously the traffic in the drive-through, and the outdoor seating piece of it was, I think, maybe the bigger issue
The
for
outdoor seating.
for the early opening, but
That was at the recommendation of Mr. Anderson. Stephen.
I believe it was.
Yep, yep, but no, planning commission was very excited, so.
Very good. Any questions, comments from the board?
I love the idea of outside seating. I think that's a great addition.
Anything else? Mr. Roman?
Oh, thanks for coming to White Lake. Do you have a target opening day?
If they do start construction next year, hopefully by the end of next summer, would be ideal.
Great.
Good. I like the soup.
Yeah.
So like a year from now, you
Yeah.
think you're, so I agree with Mr. Roman. My neighbors and a bunch of other residents are excited. My only concern for you guys is the concern of even some of our newer developments in White Lake, staffing.
Yeah, so I actually worked on the car wash that is hopefully opening soon on Highland Road. So as far as your drive-through stacking, was that your concern?
Pardon me, I'm sorry?
Did you say stacking in terms of the
Staffing,
drive-through?
staffing.
Oh,
Staffing, bringing
staffing,
people
okay.
inside.
Yeah,
Like,
I know
so-
Panera has great employment programs, so we haven't heard any concerns from them on that yet, but we can definitely, make them aware and get a statement from them for the next
Because you guys can
meeting.
come to White Lake all you want, but when there's no staffing, it's really hard, even though people love Panera. So yeah, I agree. I'm one of those people that love Panera too, but my concern is staffing. So
I
thank
think
you
the
and
business plan,
welcome.
their business plan will take that into consideration. Any other questions or comments at this time? Seeing none, I will make a motion to grant preliminary site plan approval to Panera Bread as requested by the Community Development Director.
Support.
I have motion, support. All in favor? Aye.
Great, thank you
That
so
was
much.
easy.
See you soon.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Ruggles. Okay, 8B, public hearing to hear comments on the reassessment of the Sunset Taylor Road Maintenance Special Assessment District. And we will open this. Anybody here from that area? Raise a hand. Okay, thank you. We will now, I make a motion to open the public hearing to hear comments on the reassessment of the Sunset/Taylor Road Maintenance Special Assessment District. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
Support. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
and Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
At this time, if you have anything, if anyone out there has an interest in this and would like to speak, you'll have 3 minutes to speak at the podium. You'll have to identify yourself for the recorder. I am now opening the floor to those comments. Seeing no takers, I am making a motion to close the public hearing to hear comments on the reassessment of the Sunset Taylor Road Maintenance Special Assessment District. Looking for a motion
So I'll support your motion.
or support memo. I make a motion, supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The public hearing is now closed. Resolution number 23-023, confirming the special reassessment rule for the Special Assessment District designated Sunset/Taylor Road Maintenance. Mr. Assessor, Mr. Heber, have you anything to add?
No, nothing to add. This was noticed twice in the Oakland Press. Notices were mailed to all the residents and located in this district. I didn't have any questions or calls on the district, so.
Very good.
recommend.
This is a renewal.
This one's actually a little bit different. It's for the last 2 years of their 5-year special assessment. It was determined by the residents that there wasn't adequate funding to do what they wanted to do or needed to do with the roads. So we're at their request increasing the assessment
Costs
for the
went
last
up.
2. Yeah, costs went up.
Imagine that. So, okay, any questions from the board? Mr. Roman?
Does anyone remember if this was a dirt road or if it was an asphalt road or, I don't know if anyone remembers. It's been a while since this one
Care
came.
to comment on that, sir?
It's a dirt road.
It
It is
is
dirt,
And
okay.
your name?
John Fitzgerald, resident on Sunset.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
I thought it was a gravel road from my memory. Okay, that being said, you answered your question. Care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 23-023, confirming the special assessment role.
Excuse me. I have a motion on the floor, looking for support.
Support.
I have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. D, public hearing to hear comment on Lake Neva West Canals, weed control and lake improvement, 2023 through 2027. I will now make a motion to open the public hearing to hear the comments on Lake Neva West Canals, weed control and lake improvement, 2023 through 2027. That is in the form of a motion, looking for support.
I'll support that.
Motion and support. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Koa.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees.
Yes.
Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes.
We are now open to the peer public comment on the Lake Neva West Canals weed control and lake improvement. Anyone at this time that cares to make comment needs to come up to the podium. You may come up, sir, and identify yourself to the recorder.
Hi, I'm Rex Sufol. I live at 6115 Whispering Meadows, very west end of the canal. I'm all for it. I enjoy fishing on the lake, which you can't do right now. It's so weedy. So hope we can get it sooner than later.
Thank you. You get that, Anna? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
My husband, Christina Garwood.
You need to come up to the microphone because the system cannot pick you up.
Oh, my goodness. I apologize. Christina Garwood, 6105 Whispering Meadows Drive. Even farther west than Rex is. We're next door neighbors. I have a letter that I would like to read, and I also have a copy for everybody. I'm here to officially protest our participation in this special assessment district. And when I read the letter from the township, that's what it said I needed to do. The parcel sits at the west end of Lake Neva, where Cedar Creek enters the lake. Only 50 feet of our property borders the lake, and the majority borders the creek. It would be reasonable to exclude our lot from the special assessment district. The proposed weed control assessment does not address the source or cause of the vegetation growth. Excess vegetation, such as weeds and algae blooms, are the result of runoff from lots that use fertilizer on grass lawns. We have stopped fertilizing our lawn. The water flows from Cedar Creek west into flows east into the Lake Neva West Canals at the rear of our property. So there's always a stream of water coming there. The lots contribute to the lake weeds. There are 17 other lots that border Cedar Creek upstream from the canals. These lots contribute to the lake weeds because of all the fertilization. But according to the Special Assessment District, they're not responsible for the cost of the cleanup of the weeds in the lake. In addition, the flow of the water from Cedar Creek sends any of the dispersed weed control chemicals downstream from our lot to the slower flowing water of Lake Neva West. The effect is that no weed control actually occurs on our lot. And this is based on our participation in the special assessment 7 years ago. We've witnessed several sprayings during the last assessment, and the boat didn't come to behind our lot. In fact, they stopped halfway behind Rex's lot. So there needs to be some kind of control of the company that's hired to put in the chemicals, that if the assessment is approved, someone needs to make sure that this company is actually doing what we're paying for. And so the bottom line is we were billed for services that we did not receive. And so we'd like to be removed from the special assessment district. We'd also like advance notice before all spraying occurs. That doesn't occur. We get people wandering on our lot without notice, and it's quite intrusive. So with all due respect, I'd like to be removed from the special assessment district. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. I believe your appeals time on that has come and gone because when the assessment was established, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Assessor?
This is an expired assessment, so this is a new one, so the residents appropriate to make their protest here. I mean, I could look at the lot, for your information, it's not a renewal, it did expire, then the weeds grew back. I heard from the resident that circulated the petition.
Want to make sure that was clear, so we knew where and when the line was. Okay. So you do have the right to appeal. They should talk to your association that you have. There's a group or association that's headed this up, okay? You need to notify them. Will they need to notify your office as well?
Can I speak on that?
One second.
What I would recommend is just to continue the public hearing, hear all the comments of people that are either for it or object to it. I'm taking some notes down and we'll take a look and see.
Very good.
If we feel that the parcel has benefit, it'll be our recommendation to put it in the district. And the residents would have a right to challenge that they're not receiving the benefit of the district.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Yes, sir.
The Board of Directors of the Association.
Well, we cannot, you need to go to the microphone, unfortunately. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Rex Hufel again. I'm on the Board of Directors, Vice President, and the board is not specifically actively involved in this. I'm involved only because I want it with my neighbors, but it's not a board thing. Just letting you know.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment at this time?
Hi, I just got up here late. I'm a homeowner on the property,
Need your name and
Nancy.
address.
Balea,
Okay. Can you spell it?
6185 Whispering Meadows.
Did you get that, Hannah? Okay, all right.
I benefit from the weed assessment control, and it makes a difference in the property, and I'm for it. So I just want to be on record for that. Yep.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave Rybakowski and live at 6125 Whispering Meadows Drive. The weed control does a great job. I mean, they make it so you can fish there, you can get through it. I went through it a week ago, and the whole lake is just filled with weeds, algae. I mean, the ducks literally walk right across the top of the water. It is just it's just nasty. Maybe Christy here, I don't know if she's for it or not. Maybe she's against paying for it. But I do remember when this first started 5 years ago, there were certain residents that did not want to be treated. So their lot lines were actually excluded from spraying. So I don't think it's a matter of them not doing their job, but there were certain people that specifically said, we don't want you spraying in front of our house. Which the downfall of that is if that's your property, now you're obstructing that water flow. So if you don't spray in front of these houses, the water won't flow through it. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Anyone else at this time?
Yeah, my name is Ron Castellan, 6265 Whispering Meadows. One thing I noticed when we did this last year is that when the chemicals stopped being dispersed on the properties, the weeds grew back. And they grew back with a vengeance. And that's what we have today. So that's why we're here. The other is those properties along where I live, those that did not have the weeds, they're there. Where the boat came along and put the chemicals in to remove it, you can see the properties that did not want to have it done, and it's growing there. So it does work. It's a little pontoon boat. The guy comes out and sprays, does a terrific job. Very friendly, talks to anybody that wants to talk with him while he's doing it. And it does make an improvement on the water flow. Right now, we have this, we'll call it duckweed for lack of better terms. The top of the lake is covered, it's green, you can't even see the bottom. So this will help that as well. With any water tension or any wind or breeze that comes across the water, it does cause a little current, so the water flows east or west or north or south, depending on where you live on the lake, or the pond, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm for it, and I think it's a good thing. You can see the fish. The fish come back every year. They spawn out in front of my house. I have a little sandy beach out there. They do a great job, and so fishing is, for those that are here, know that that's pretty nice. We got nice bass, and we have bluegill and crappie out there as well. So that's also improved when we have this done. Prior to that, we had huge lily pads, the size of two hands. I mean, they were just huge. They blocked any view of the sun coming into the lake. Or you look down, it's all you saw was these large, huge, beautiful lily pads, but no water movement at all. It's stagnant. Upside downside is, well, you can imagine any stagnant waters, particularly in White Lake, you get mosquitoes. So this kind of takes care of that too with the movement of water and things of that nature, where the fish can take care of those larvae and eat them as freely as they can because they'd be able to find them without having the grass to go through. So, okay. Any questions of me while I'm up here?
Nope.
Okay,
Public
thank
comment.
you.
All right. Thank you, or say, public hearing. Anyone else at this time?
Hello, I'm Kirk Grant with Blue Water Aquatics. Just here representing our company tonight to mostly just be here to answer any questions or concerns that any of the residents that live in that water body might have. I've owned the business for over 20 years, been doing the treatments for over 30 years in this area. I actually grew up in White Lake, and I currently live in White Lake. I grew up in Lakewood Village, right across the street from where we're speaking, and used to sled down the power lines back there before Whispering Meadows was even there. Fished in those canals. So I've literally seen how that canal has developed over the course of over 40 years now. Don't want to admit that, but over 40 years. But so I've been the one that's doing the treatments out there probably 90% of the time. It's either myself or one of my other experienced applicators. And we've had the previous SAD for the 5 year, and it worked out really well, in our opinion. Had great success as far as controlling the weeds and algae, and looking forward to possibly getting this SAD approved for the future. And
I think you've always posted it on our lot but maybe if, to your point, you get an advance notice on when you're gonna do it would be.
Yep, we always set up
good
those.
improvement,
And we always set up those times right around April. We set up a season tentative schedule. So you can always call up or email us at any time and ask for a tentative schedule based on weather and conditions that can always change. But by law, we're required to post just prior to, or, we always try to do it just prior to.
I don't mean to interrupt, but this is the public hearing.
I understand that.
We can get the mechanics of it here in the next half of this.
Completely agree. I'm just here to represent Blue Water Aquatics and answer any questions that the board or residents might have.
Very good.
Outside of this meeting.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure
Thank
we'll
you.
hear from you again. Anyone else on this subject matter?
So
You're already
what
up.
I'm saying?
You're already up.
Okay, so I'm about the point posting it though.
That's not part of what this conversation is. This is a hearing as to whether just the opinions on it. We won't get into a debate. We'll have a little more conversation on the second half here. Hold on. Okay, any other for the public hearing? Seeing none, I will make a motion to close the public hearing. Looking for support?
Support.
I have motion and support by Trustee Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Next item is E, the Resolution 23024, determine to undertake an improvement project and to establish and maintain a special assessment district to pay costs associated therewith, approving the plans and estimates of costs, therefore to be known as the Lake Neva West Canals Weed Control and Lake Improvement from 2023 to 2027. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have a question.
Trustee Smith.
I'll just make a comment for the residents here. During public hearing, we aren't to converse with you. We have requirements that it's just public comment and we're hearing from you. So now is the time that we'll discuss and ask questions and discuss amongst ourselves. So we have requirements during public hearing to just stick to that guideline. So now is our time to talk.
Anything you care to add?
No, I think that it's important to be good stewards of the lake. And we are so lucky that we have so many wonderful lakes in White Lake Township. So I take this as being an important step of care and maintenance and being a good steward to our lakes. So.
Very good. Mr. Ruggles.
Yeah, so it says on here that this is for 2023 to 27, but when do you intend to start treating the lake? That would be next April, not this year?
Right.
Okay.
Mr. Noel? Mr. Roman?
Question for council. So by approving the district, we can still remove a lot, we just can't add?
That's
Okay.
correct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, as someone that has access to White Lake, I agree. Our lake wouldn't be the same. Once again, I only have access, wouldn't be the same with the weeds. It's not even go out there a lot, but it really, I agree with Ms. Fessler, Smith, that it totally improves the quality of the lakes, so yeah. And one question for Dave, what percentage, I know it's 51% for, to approve, but do you know what the pro-con ratio was? You can just give me a ballpark figure,
It
just,
was, I believe, 62%.
okay, thank you.
But I don't know that that's a con if they didn't sign the petition. They may just not have been home, so
Okay.
I don't know. But
Yeah, Hang
Thank
on
you.
there, Dave. I have a couple more questions for you.
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. So we are now going to determine whether or not this is a feasible project to do. When will the actual district be totally established?
Well, we'll hold another public hearing at your September meeting, and if it's approved, this is to establish, to confirm is it in September, and then if it's confirmed in September, it'll go on the tax bill starting in 2023 for funds to be available in 2024.
Thank you for clarifying that for everybody.
Well, there's actually two steps. This is one of the steps. So we're talking about them kind of together, but they're two separate things. This is establishing the district and determining the properties that will be included. The September meeting is determining the costs allocated to each of the parcels.
Correct, and the petition had the cost on it, so unless the cost is an overrun of that within the 10%, then you can still move forward with it.
I want to make sure they know their right to appeal. So,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Mr. Roman?
I'd like to make a motion to
Thank you, Dave.
approve Resolution 23-024, establishing the district for the Lake Neva West Canals weed.
We have a motion to approve Resolution 23-024. Looking for support?
Support.
I have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None opposed. So the process will come back in September and continue. Item F, public hearing to hear comments on the establishment of the Emergency Sewer Connection Special Assessment District 2023-02. As you know, from time to time, the Township Board has taken the initiative to have a emergency sewer hookup program and for special assessments in that particular area where sewer is available and folks need to get tied up to it. This is a continuance of that program, which we've done now for several years. And we have the establishment of this coming into light. So we're going to go to the public hearing of this, and I'm going to make a motion to open the public hearing to hear comments on the establishment of the Emergency Sewer Connection Special Assessment District 2023-02. Motion?
Support.
I have motion, I have support from Trustee Smith. Roll call vote?
Supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
We are now in public hearing for the emergency sewer hookup. Anyone at this time care to speak on that subject matter, please come forward to the podium. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Looking for support?
Support.
I have motion and support from Mr. Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that has been closed. Item 23025, to establish and maintain a special assessment district to pay costs associated therewith and approve the plans and estimates of costs therefore to be known as Emergency Sewer Connections 2023-02, and I had made that in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from Mr. Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Item H, Resolution 23-026, ATT Metro Permit Amendment 2023. This comes before us from time to time, although this is an amendment to that permit, and I often call this a one-way street because we never seem to have a whole lot of options at this time. And this has been before us and brought before us many times annually. And Council, anything to add?
No, this is a Douglas, Anthony and.
I can't hear you.
This is a Clerk Noble item. Is there something that?
No, we got all the mapping and we're all complete.
This is just an extension of a permit we've already had in place. They're not intending any new facilities at this time.
Very good.
And I'd like to thank Jolene from your office for helping with that.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 23-026 to approve AT&T Michigan Metro Act Permit Amendment.
We have a motion, looking for support? Support. I have support from Mr. Noble. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Lot
Item
of- lot
I.
of support- lot of support tonight.
Yes,
A lot of that.
We're on a roll.
we're on a roll.
We're going to keep the
Okay.
momentum going.
That's it. Item I, request to approve POAM Patrol Tentative Agreement. Kathy DeRocher, could you come forward, please?
AT&T's the
Kathy
DBA.
DeRocher is our HR leader.
So a few months ago, Chief Keller gave a very compelling presentation to the board as to why we needed to restructure some of the wages for our patrol division. I think that was received favorably, and we were instructed to follow up with some comparables with other communities, which Labor Council and I did. Those are presented to you at an additional meeting. So what you have before you is a TA that we presented to patrol. You can see the wages have been restructured so that there's a starting wage that is considerably higher than it was prior to this, and it tops out higher as well. So we feel that these wages are much more competitive with the comparables in the other communities, and we hope that this will, definitely improve our retention and recruitment efforts within the police department.
Yeah, there's, obviously, this was discussed in length with the board at, special meetings, and other conversation has been gone on with this, and I know that the chief has been very proactive in trying to move this forward, simply because I spoke with a local municipality today, and they have, they're down 15 officers, and they put it as a recruitment issue. So that's a significant number. And when White Lake Township was just recently noted in an FBI statistics study that for a city per capita in size, we were the 15th safest city in the continental United States. So this speaks a lot for our police department. So any questions or comments from the board at this time?
I do.
I'm sorry.
When we had this meeting, we were like the middle of the pack, if I remember correctly, for salaries. Where does that take us now? Yes.
Chief?
Top third, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we were in the bottom quarter.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember exact stats,
We were in
okay.
about 20% of the Oakland County. This brings us in the top third of Oakland County. So it's substantial. It means a lot to the men and women of the police department, and means a lot to the future men and women of the police department, because it'll most definitely attract them to come here. White Lake is a great place to live, it's a great place to work, and we want to hire the best people we can to keep this township safe.
Okay, any other questions?
No, I have a comment.
Please.
I would just say that I totally agree with it. I think it's, definitely needed, well-deserved, so.
I did sign this agreement on the 21st of June, but it did need to come formally before this board. And I am looking for I will make a motion to approve the contract extension as submitted to this board and discussed.
Support.
I have motion, I have support. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
and trustee Voorhees.
Yes, because I'm in support of this, keep our residents safe.
Okay, next item, request to approve POLC Command tentative agreement, which was also a part of this continued package of restructuring. Any other comments on that, or?
Yep, no, basically the differential that's already been established in the command contract dictate the percentages here, so it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, and Chief, anything to add?
Well, after you vote, I'd like to say just a couple words.
Okay. I did sign this agreement tentatively in good faith with the township on July 12th, and the requirements are that it be brought before this board. So I will make a motion to accept the proposed contract extension as submitted to the township board. Make that in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have support from trustee Liz Smith, and I will take a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
treasurer Roman,
Yes.
supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Motion carries. Chief?
First of all, I want to thank Kathy and Brandon, our labor attorney, for putting this together, working on it, and making sure it went smoothly. The men and women of the police department are supremely grateful for your support in this. It's much needed, it's well-deserved, and it's going to really set us up for success in the future. And like the supervisor says, we're the 15th safest city in the nation. The men and women should be proud of that. The citizens of White Lake should be proud of it, and this is much deserved, and we couldn't do it without your support, and we wholeheartedly appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. The resources of the township are well spent. Kathy, thank you very much for all your hard work. I know there's a lot of time involved in this. Thank you. And to Brandon.
Likewise, Chief, we're appreciative of you. And, we had, we're whipping through this, but he gave us about a 3-hour presentation in a special meeting. So I just want the residents to know we really dove into this and we explored all options and we really spent a lot of time on this. So it looks like we're going through it quickly tonight, but we really have spent a lot of previous time working this out. So thank you to everyone. Yeah.
There's an interesting article that came over the wire today. There's a community, I believe it's in Minnesota. I'm trying to remember exactly where.
Yeah, they got rid of their whole police.
Where the
force.
entire police department, including the chief, resigned. They are now without a police department, this particular city. And some of the underlyings of it are there's a lack of support from the community. And it's hard to do it. You have a difficult enough job protecting the people of this community. If you don't have the support from the top, it doesn't lend itself very well to a functioning organism. So, and in light of all the things that are going on in the policing industry right now, I'm glad to see that we were able to do this. And for the record, we were able to actually extend the existing contracts by an additional year as an act of good faith on our part and their part. So it worked out well because every time we go into union negotiations, Kathy is spinning her wheels around the block and trying to make it, and we have a labor attorney who's a nice guy, but he's expensive. So, but that's what they're there for. They're specialists. So, but they help us get through it. So it does, in the long run, it makes things a little more streamlined here for White Lake Township. When I first got on board, many of these contracts were really out of sync, and it seemed like it was a revolving door for talks and things of that nature. And Kathy and myself got together and we said we got to straighten this out. So we started to sync up all of our various contracts. So it takes up less time for the township, and frankly, less of my time, that I can focus on other things. So we get it kind of grouped up, dedicate to that, do this type of exercise, find out the wants and needs, and move forward. And I thank all of you for being here tonight and being patient for that. Next item.
I was going to say something.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr.
I just, with the times are, cities are looking to, use the word poach, but take experienced officers and, attract them to their communities. We were at the bottom, and I commend the chief for us, coming forward with this. It is going to set us up for the succession plan of hiring the best out there, being able to go to the academy and be proud of our township. And with the new buildings, hopefully in the next 2 years, it's going to attract more people that want to come here. And be in the top 15th city in the country, safest is an amazing feat, and it shows from the top down with our chief. So thank you, chief.
Thank you. All is good. Anyone else at this time? Okay, moving on to item K, Resolution 23-028, approving the opting into the national opioid litigation settlements with this, in this particular case, Walgreens. As many of you know, the opioid epidemic in this country is just that. It's an epidemic, and there's been multiple court actions against drug manufacturers, drug wholesalers, things of that nature for the loose control, supposedly, of this particular opioid, which is highly addictive. And there has been a settlement, and different organizations have gone into the settlement and allows that money to come back to communities throughout the United States. And I'm not sure of the exact dollar amount of this particular one. It's not in the real high number, but the monies that we use can always help us with some of our programs that we have, just like the handcuffs program. You care to elaborate on that
Handcuffs.
just quickly?
Yeah, Hope Not Handcuffs. And so these funds, and I think we'll have further discussion, I think we've discussed it about maybe possibly collaborating with other townships and hiring a social worker so we can better serve the community and those are needs. And this funding, through my readings, at least it looks like that funding can go towards that. And there's Hope Not Handcuffs, and there's several different programs that we can do. But this is going to be, I think it'll be a great start for us to get.
Can you give the folks just a brief synopsis of what the Hope to Handcuffs?
So Hope Not Handcuffs is oftentimes those who are addicted to drugs do things they wouldn't normally do if they weren't addicted to those drugs, sometimes criminal activity. And the Hope Not Handcuffs program allows us to have them voluntarily come in and get them the help that they need. So the Hope Not Handcuffs is not everybody deserves to go to jail. Some people do. Some people just need the help to get realigned and reorganized to be successful. So these programs that we have with the social workers with Hope Not Handcuffs allows that action to take place. It gives them a benefit that they wouldn't have had normally. It gives them an avenue to succeed. So I'm a firm believer in giving people the resources to be successful, because if they're successful, other people around them are successful, White Lake's successful. So it's a win-win program, and this money will help in that endeavor.
Thank you, Chief. I just wanted to you to explain that. I have the familiarity, but I wasn't sure how much of the public knew of that program. And I got to commend the chief and his department. These are one of the many community outreach programs that our police department has. And we continue to try to find the needs in the community and fill those needs whenever possible. Questions or comments from the board? Okay. Sir, you had a comment, your name? You're going to have to come up to the podium real quick.
Yes, sir.
Only because the microphone won't pick you up.
Yes, sir.
My name's Chris Russell, 85 Oak Place. My first time here, my first night, so pleasure to meet you.
Welcome.
Pleasure, Clerk Noble. Pleasure, Chief Keller. I'm actually familiar with the program. I took the class down in Wayne. What I would like to input is that this program actually serves a great third leg to the recovery community. We've got the already existing recovery community with AA and NA, and I think there's eaters and not, it's a community. There's also the academic community, which is the hospitals. Having gone through the course, I feel that this really adds our law enforcement community in just a phenomenal way. You know, the class also provides Narcan to people who are out there already serving the community to be able to have that resource, you know, if there's a need. So I just wanted to thank. Also, I do understand there's an expense. I think the split is 50-50, that the state gets 50% and the communities get 50%, so that it's actually not very much that the township may be getting. And I understand there's you know, you guys may be resourcing more than you're getting in the labor to manage the program, but I just wanted to say thank you to the community.
Thank you. Again, another
Thank you
community
for
outreach.
sharing that with
Yep.
us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Resolution 2302A approving the opting into the national opioid litigation settlements with Walgreens. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have motion, I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Next item is closed session. Closed session is when the board will have a private conversation with client attorney privilege. A closed session to consult with legal counsel regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with BlackRock White Lake versus White Lake ZBA, Sixth Circuit Court, case number 2023-200-907-AA in accordance with MCL 15.2681E. I make that in the form of a motion. Looking for support.
Support.
I have motion, I have support. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
We will now go into executive session. We will adjourn to our room for a while. If you want to stick around, there's a couple things left. If not, thank you all for attending this evening.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to go back into regular session. Or I have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Regarding item K, I'm going to direct the township attorney to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Support.
I'll take that in the form of a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Thank you. FYI, 9885 Cedar Island Road update. What do you have to tell us about 9885 Cedar Island that we don't already know?
Well, it's a hot mess, and the attorney just filed a motion to withdraw,
I saw that.
and it's scheduled for hearing next week.
Wait, their attorney?
His attorney.
Yeah, I want to make sure I understood that right.
I'm sorry, his attorney, but the girlfriend is the one who does a lot of the talking, so I think of them as two.
Okay.
So that's all I have as far as an update goes. I'm gonna argue against allowing
Dismissal?
withdrawal because, discovery, the clock has ticked on a lot of the things. I have complied with the scheduling order. I'm waiting on a response to my discovery. If the court agrees to allow her to withdraw, I'm gonna ask that all of those dates get extended because it puts me in a bad spot now.
Can we go after expenses? Love you, Lisa, but for you, if they're changing attorneys? No, okay.
No, there would be no mechanism for that.
Okay, thank you for that update, Counselor. Civic Center Committee update, Mr. Roman.
Well, as you all know, we're really still in the schematic phase. I think the layouts are at a point where our construction manager is in the process of getting us some cost estimates. And we really need those back before we can kind of push forward. Let's just say the costs came in line to where we were hoping them to come in. We still need to look at styles, materials, colors. That's all still to be determined. And first things first, we got to see if the costs are in line. As far as the construction manager contract, we're getting really close. It was reviewed by Lisa's firm, as well as the bonding attorney and our real estate attorneys. I think we just got comments back yesterday, so.
We did, from our insurance carrier as well.
Oh, yes, so Mr. O'Neill and I will kind of look at that this week and hopefully put that one to bed. We've got a meeting tomorrow. Not sure what is going to be gone over. Dan, how are you guys on your schematic? You guys are pretty good to go, I would assume?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, and then, Sean, did you want to talk about the land development, maybe?
So, yeah, a couple, really quick, tomorrow, I think we're going to talk more about scheduling on when pricing is going to come back at the committee level. There's some other kind of peripheral contracts. One, like to do a design on the gun range. One, involves security. We've got to kind of hash through that in a small group, so we'll do that. The soil borings came back today, and they've been sent to the architects, so they have that information which they need for foundation work.
Did they send it to us?
Yes,
Can you please forward that to me?
it's in your inbox.
Thank you. That was quick.
Yep. And then Beckett Rader transferred the CAD file to DLZ yesterday for the road, the curb cut.
Touch on that.
Yep, so that is in the hands of DLZ. I guess everybody sets things up a little differently, so the two have been communicating with one another. So if there's any kind of wrinkle in getting the CAD files opened on the DLZ end, Beckett Rader's offered to work with them, so we're in good shape with that information sharing, so.
And talking about the road, again, the driveway location has been pretty well solidified. We will eventually, a very short order here, have a determination whether the building will be able to go south or not. Upon that action being determined by the Beckett and Rader in particular, we'll craft another concept drawing, and then that drawing will be shared with Detroit Edison and Consumers Power in a preliminary planning meeting that I have forecasted but not scheduled. And that will get us in the queue, so they already know what's going on and they want to see this plan. So that'll give them a little more detail, so that will be very helpful to move that forward. So we are moving in the right direction. Okay, trustee comments. Mr. Roman.
I go first?
Today.
Usually thinks about things.
Yeah, I know.
I
We
got 'em.
are in, full tax season now. September 14th, as always, is the due date. Dog licenses are now past due. New ones will come out December 1st. That's all I had.
Very good. Andrea, I'll get it out. Andrea Voorhees, thank you. Thank you. It wouldn't come out.
I just wanted to thank the Powers and all the wonderful staff that made the Fisk Farm look fantastic for rocking at the farm. What a great evening. Nothing but positive reviews on the evening there. All the staff members that came out and supported it also. Great, like I said, great. White Lake looked fantastic. My mom and I took a drive out there. I tried to email the board and people that, just because even she was in awe. The Historical Society loved it also. Another chance for all my fellow board members to visit the farm. September 9th and 10th is the Fisk Farm. Fall Festival, 10 to 5. I will be emailing you, knocking on your doors, calling you to see if you can help support Bob and I in the beverage/food tent on one of those 2 days. Other than that, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So I'll start with the library update. The library is hiring. So if you're interested in working there, please check out their website for all of the information. Additionally, the library had such a fun summer planned, and they've added food trucks several times. Their schedule as well is on the website and Facebook. Anyone's welcome to the food truck. You don't have to patron the library, but you can eat in the library, and you're certainly welcome to enjoy whatever you get from the food truck, on the patio or take it to go. And they're ramping up their programs, and then this summer reading program party is coming up as well, and that's always so much fun. Their drive-up window is opening soon, so you will be able to utilize near the book drop-off, the south side of the building. They have put in a window for patrons' convenience, so that's something new that I encourage everybody to check out. And then we have so much going on, we have a fun summer to wrap up here. So the Police Foundation has a charity event out on Skull Island, and tickets are available for that. It's Saturday, August 26th. And encourage people to please participate in that and support our Police Foundation. The fire department has their open house on September 17th, so mark your calendars there. And they also have a fire truck pull coming up in September, and anybody can create a team. So if you'd like to formulate a team and literally pull a fire truck, it happens in the Hobby Lobby parking lot. So there's some information on the fire department and police department Facebook page if you're interested in that. I'm sure Mr. Ruggles will touch on it, but there is a planning commission open house on Thursday for the master planning, and that's to hear from the public, and it touches on 5 areas of the township that we want to hear from. We want to have your public input, so that's from 5 to 7 on Thursday. And then the gosh darn roundabouts are almost done, and I have become really good friends there with the project foreman, and so far they're a week ahead of schedule, and they're hoping to clip along and even get done sooner. So fingers crossed. I know everybody's waiting for them to be done, but that also means summer's over, so I don't mind them a little bit longer because I enjoy summer. And then before we are here in September, everybody will be back to school. So please be safe and watch out for buses, and wishing everybody a wonderful back to school year. Thank you.
Mr. Ruggles.
Thank you. So, yeah, my family and I were able to attend the Rockin' at the Farm last Saturday. It was a great event. I saw most of you there. It was a fun time. My kids had a great time. The food was good, the drinks were good. Mr. Cowell did a good job representing us on stage. Yeah, What was that, $100 gift card? Yeah. The Fisk Farm Festival, I don't know if I'll have time to attend, but Andrea, I promise you, I'm gonna provide the corn.
Yep.
And I'll even, you can write it down, I'll donate it. But somebody's gotta pick it up.
I'll help you in the food tent. I'm normally
Okay,
there.
no, I'm gonna write it down. Just
Write
let
it
me know,
down.
Liz, and you got your donation, thank you.
All right. August 17th, Liz mentioned it, we're gonna have the master plan open house right here from 5 to 7. Following that, the planning commission will be meeting at 7 o'clock to discuss the CIP, and I think there's one other event on the agenda, final site plan extension request for Lake Point, West Valley. And that's my update.
Mr. Noble?
Just like to thank the supervisor's office and especially Kelly Lang for working really hard to make the event. I thought it was a success. As the years go, we're gonna gain more traction with it. First time having it, so it was a great event. And then Milford Memories with the Chamber here on Valley Chamber of Commerce. I believe they sold close to 5,000 wristbands, which raised a lot of money for the chamber, for the beer tent, and a lot of activities that went on 3 days downtown. That's it.
Okay. I got Mr. Roman, I got Mr. Noble, got everybody? It's up to me.
Rick, when you talk,
I'm ready
can you
to talk.
just discuss a little bit about that Elizabeth Lake Road culvert that you said?
Yes, right here. So we have a couple different things going on. As mentioned, the roundabout has its base coat of asphalt down. It should have a top coat, weather permitting, within the next couple of days. And of course, signage and such. Electrical lighting has gone, pole lighting has gone in at the first roundabout at Tegadyne. They're in the midst of burying conduit and trying to get that out of the way. That, of course, is open, but it's kind of like the roundabout to nowhere. So it's a nice way to go. Anybody out there that's afraid of roundabouts, go test it now. There's no traffic.
Practice.
Okay, it's a good test pattern for you if you're not familiar with it, and you'll see that it makes a lot of sense. The road commission, of course, is being updated with our plan for the building, so we're working with that. We had another conversation, and I have a meeting tomorrow in the afternoon, pre-construction meeting for another road construction project, which will close Oxbow Lake Road at the lake control at Cedar Island. And that will be closed for approximately 2 months. They're rebuilding that bridge. But that won't close until the other roundabout opens. So it's going to, one more. And then the Cooley Lake Bridge, I don't have an opening date on that. They had some bad soils there, and I know they're working diligently to get that done. So I'll update you on that as I have it. Our Corridor Improvement Authority group met. The Citizens Advisory Council, of course, approved to support the plan that we have and bring it ultimately before the board, but it has to go through the continued process, which Mr. O'Neill and I have been learning and watching, but I would estimate it would be potentially to the township by November, December?
October will be the first.
October? Okay.
Yep, and then if everything goes well after the 60-day review period, then December would be adoption.
And April Stevens was here from the library. She showed an interest in our program and support for what we're looking at doing. I certainly appreciate her being here. And I really appreciate her being supporting and hosting the Youth Fire Academy that we had last week, which was successful. We had, I think, 19 or 20 kids go through there. It was a neat program. They had a lot of fun. The last day, when I was there to talk to them, they made them all get wet. They had their squads run out and pull a Stokes with a dummy in it through the fire hoses. So it was pretty interesting. The kids had a good time. So another youth program that this community invests in, and I certainly appreciate these programs that we have, much like the community outreach programs that the police department hosts, and it's a good thing. So, and open house is again for fire is, what's the date?
17th
The
of September.
17th, thank you, okay. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the school kicks in and the roundabout opens, so I'm very interested to see what's going to happen there. We've had several very candid conversations with the school to tell them that they can't be the cork in the barrel, because if you drive by there, it is curbed and there's not a lot of places to go. So it will be interesting. So with that, I certainly appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you very much, as always, for the support of the staff and the community. Appreciate it when the public shows up and asks questions and participates at the different meetings and hearings. So that I say, good night, God bless, and I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Thanks for doing